now with a celebration that is being celebrated across the African continent, of course, with 55 countries to be precise. And later on we'll be speaking to Stanley Chege, that is the member of County Assembly, that is Naivasha East, just to talk about the stalemate and the ongoing uproar about the salary increment. Remember, they are demanding for a raft of measures that they want to be included. Among them is the allowance that they want that to be included, the 30% car levy. But the big question that you are asking you tonight, is it really necessary at a time when the country is grappling with high debt and of course the high cost of living? We'll find that in just a few. But first thing first, our reporters have been working round the clock to bring you up to speed with the latest in the world of politics, sports, business. Well, first thing first, our top stories tonight.
Tonight, you have one mission. President William Ruto calls on senior commander graduates to end runaway banditry in North Rift. Free at last. Former Mungiki leader Maina Njenga released on free bond, but not without drama. Also tonight, give us 25% in revenue. Government sets more revenue collection target from micro, small and medium enterprise. Plus, the Confucius Institute at Kenyatta University hosts the 16th Chinese Bridge Proficiency Competition for high school in Kenya.
My co-pilot tonight is Sami Okelo, who will be helping us in the sign language interpretation department. My name is AUMA Evans. Remember, you can follow this broadcast on all of our social media platforms, on YouTube at KUTV Kenya. Remember to use the hashtag Primetime News, that is on Twitter, and the hashtag, of course, to use is Primetime News, and our Twitter handle is KUTV at KUTV_Kenya. Now, we begin our bulletin tonight here in Nairobi, where President William Ruto today presided over the graduation of 70 senior commanders in the military at the National Defense College in Karen, Nairobi. In his address to the graduates, the head of state commended the institution for creating a good relationship with other countries through courses they offer. President Ruto also lauded Ministry of Defense for supporting gender inclusivity. Ruth Wanjiru kick off our bulletin tonight with that bit.
The Kenya National Defense College today held a graduation ceremony which saw about 70 senior commanders graduate with a diploma in national security and strategy. President Ruto, who presided over the event, lauded the institution for creating good relations with other countries through the courses they offer, citing that it is a way of enhancing good diplomatic relations around the African continent.
I am also pleased to note the widening international reach by the college, especially in Africa, which attests to the growing appetite throughout our continent for common approaches to regional and national policy and strategy. This is excellent news for the future of continental integration and the Africa we all want.
The president further congratulated the female senior commanders who graduated today. He added that the Ministry of Defense is performing well in enhancing and promoting gender inclusivity.
Among the participants there are 11 female officers from various agencies. Whilst this number may appear low by civilian standards, I am satisfied that such a number of senior officers, let alone senior military officers represents tremendous and commendable progress.
In addition, the head of state also encouraged the graduates to brace themselves for what it takes to make Kenya secure and find solutions to security challenges, especially banditry in the North Rift.
To give us insights on how we can deal with this challenge that has been with us for a while, including other security challenges, because that is the essence of institutions like this.
According to Colonel T. Ayona from Nigeria, who was speaking on behalf of the graduates, the skills they learned during the training will help them fulfill their roles in the defense forces as expected of them.
My esteemed colleagues who are graduating today have been molded, baked, and transformed into strategists, able to conceive and drive innovative solutions to the challenges of security, development, and nation building.
The National Defense College, Kenya, is a center of excellence in training, education, and research in national security and strategy for senior commanders in the military across Africa. Ruth Wanjiru, for KUTV.
Right, elsewhere, former Mungiki leader Maina Njenga was today questioned before being released by the Directorate of Criminal Investigation Officers. Njenga supporters forced police officers to lob tear gas canisters as they demanded the release of the politician who was being interrogated by the DCI at the DCI headquarters along Kiambu Road. Njenga surrendered yesterday to the Nakuru Law Court, where he was ordered to present himself to the DCI headquarters today. And as James Muriki reports, the politician is battling accusation of possession of 90 rolls of bang and 2 pistol guns discovered in raid at one of his homes.
Former Mungiki leader Maina Njenga has finally been released on a free board following a full-day interrogation by officers at the Directorate of Criminal Investigation. A spirited showdown between police and former Mungiki leader Maina Njenga supporters was witnessed outside the DCI headquarters as the police used tear gas canisters to disperse the angry followers demanding his release. The conflict escalated after Njenga's supporters were encamped outside the DCI headquarters when informed that he was nowhere to be found. Njenga surrendered at the DCI headquarters after the Nakuru Law Court released him yesterday and ordered him to surrender at the DCI today for further investigations.
Wamepeleka Maina Njenga a place hatujui. Sasa hivi mheshimiwa anakimbia ndio tujue. Hatujui Maina ako wapi. Hatujui Maina ako wapi.
Njenga's lawyer Wanjiru stated that Njenga could not be traced at the DCI headquarters, adding that he was also not at Kiambu Court as he had been informed.
Wamechukua client, akijua mahali wamempeleka, wamechukua client yangu. You don't know where.
Police claim that they found 90 rolls of bangi and 2 pistol guns in a raid at his home. Lawyer Wanjiru says that Njenga obtained an anticipatory bail, which blocks the police from arresting a suspect. James Muriki, KUTV.
All right, now pay attention to this story. Kenya Revenue Authority's Acting Commissioner for Domestic Taxes, Mwangi Mugo, has revealed plan to streamline revenue collection from micro, small, and medium enterprise. The plan will see SMEs contribute 25% of total tax collection from the current 6%. According to KRA, SMEs are currently contributing 35 to 45% of Kenya's gross domestic product, with 70% of employment opportunities, but remain low on KRA records. Our very own Yvonne Kemuma breaks down the numbers for us.
KRA has announced plans aimed at ensuring it collects at least 20% of its total tax portfolio from MSMEs, up from 6%. The sector COFs. Currently, the Acting Commissioner for Domestic Taxes, Mwangi Mugo, notes that MSMEs have the potential to contribute more domestic revenue, adding that the current 6% is not statutory. To achieve this new target, KRA will put up a desk dedicated to MSMEs in their offices countrywide to take care of the critical sector, where President William Ruto will commission the first desk on Friday in Embu. Commissioner Muga was speaking at the Embu Juakali Trade Forum.
In terms of tax collection, looking at their contribution to the GDP between 35 and 40%, we would be expecting that in terms of revenue, they should be contributing not less than between 20 and 25%. We have seen they are contributing about 6%, so there is a huge gap, a huge potential.
Meanwhile, Mugo Mate, who chairs the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Embu branch, wants KRA to consider giving new businesses tax holidays, since most businesses incur many expenses at this time.
Throughout the country, we are going to have a dedicated desk. We are manned by our officers, where the players in the sector can come and get all their attention, all the education, and where their needs will be addressed.
David Munyinjagi, the chairperson of the Embu Juakali Association, told KRA that most artisans are uninformed on tax payment, thus they do not know which taxes are due or even know how to compute their tax liabilities.
Hii mambo ya kulipa ushuru tunataka ifanywe na njia ambao na lugha ambao inaeleweka na watu wa Juakali, sababu kuna language balia sana, majina mingi hata watu wa Juakali hawaelewi.
The MSME sector contributes 35 to 45% of the GDP and up to 70% of employment, yet it only contributes 6% of domestic revenue. KRA has been missing its revenue targets and hopes to make a turnaround. Yvonne Kemuma, KUTV.
Still Motors economy. Small businesses in Kenya will have to pay a minimum of 5,000 annual subscription fee to the Kenya National Chambers of Commerce and Industry, in a new move by the government to make it mandatory for all companies to join the trade lobby. However, the proposal by the Trade Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria has not been received lightly by some small business owners in the country. Our very own Patrick Oduor had a chit-chat with the small business owners, and this is how it went down.
Small businesses in Kenya have not been spared in the move by government to introduce a mandatory subscription fee to join the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Trade Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria made the announcement on Monday, emphasizing that small businesses must join trade lobby or fold.
Let us be organized. If you don't get organized, there is no way to help you. And the way to help you is to organize you in something that you can feel proud. So in the chamber law, it is going to be mandatory for every registered business in Kenya to be a member of the chamber. It is not going to be a choice. It is going to be mandatory.
Although Kuria emphasized that the move would elevate Kenya's business to a higher level, small business owners in Kiambu County have expressed their opinions, appearing to oppose the proposal.
Me personally kwanza sifikiri mambo ni fair kwanza. Personally hata hapa hivi nimetoka kuregister hii kitu juzi. Sasa niambie kwa nini tena nianze kulipa fees zingine?
Sisi hapa tuko na biashara yetu ile ambapo unapata tax, unaenda kukata tax na unapata wanakuwekea tax yenye iko juu. So if kama duka kama hii ndio inaanza, mimi ni kijana naanza biashara, kwa hivyo nikipewa tax kama ya 21,000 total tax, utapata hiyo 21,000 ndio inafaa ikuwe naweka kama stock. Kwa hivyo serikali inapoleta hiyo another tax itakuwa disadvantage.
Kulingana na vile kumekuwa kungumu sana, sasa sioni kama tutaweza.
The business owners have also complained on the increased operation fee as the cost of raw materials continue to rise. New business owners have also indicated that it will be difficult to run their businesses effectively.
According to me, as a small business, okay, watu wenye tunaanza kuweka business, it's not healthy for a business because kama unaanzia you don't have even the capital ama something to expand the business. Now they have said now you have to pay all those taxes. Mtu atatoa wapi?
Kulingana na hiyo uamuzi, sisi tumefinyika sana, sababu hata pesa hakuna, mwananchi hana pesa. Sasa hata ukichukua karoni uweke kasi, hata hiyo pesa yenyewe haitoki kwa kasi. Kwa hivyo sasa tukiongezewa kitu kingine juu ya hiyo, sasa ni kutumaliza biashara, tutamaliza, tutafuga, labda turudi nyumbani.
As the government contemplates the implementation of mandatory membership in the KNCCI for all businesses, concerns are arising among small business owners, expressing their worries of being overburdened in the wake of increased taxes, some fearing for closure of their businesses. Patrick Oduor, KUTV, Kiambu County.
Well, thank you very much, Patrick Oduor, for that comprehensive reporting. Now, switching gears to education matters, the Confucius Institute at Kenyatta University has today hosted the 16th Chinese Bridge Proficiency Competition for high schools in Kenya. The program, which is held annually, aimed at spearheading the teaching of the Chinese language and culture in a bid to enable Kenyan graduates increase their proficiency in the job market and also to increase collaboration between Kenya and China. Joseph Case attended the event and filed this report.
The Confucius Institute at Kenyatta University has this year had an opportunity to host the Chinese Bridge Proficiency Competition, which involved a number of high schools in the country, including Alliance High School, State House Girls, Sukari Presbyterian Junior Secondary, Brookhouse International Schools, among others.
The Chinese Embassy in Kenya selects an institute that will offer, because it's an annual function for the institute. So you're just elected by the virtue of what you're spearheading as at KU we spearhead programs. This is a program that is targeting high schools that are learning Chinese.
Kenyatta University Vice-Chancellor Professor Paul Wainaina, in his speech read by Deputy Vice-Chancellor in charge of Research, Innovation and Outreach, Professor Caroline Dhorua, has congratulated the Chinese Embassy to Kenya for choosing Kenyatta University in offering courses in Chinese language and culture. The Bachelor of Arts and Diploma courses in Chinese language and culture will be offered in the university beginning September 2023.
We are confident that these efforts are not in vain, and we are very crucial in empowering and equipping our young generation with skills to compete globally and in order to transform the Kenyan society and foster amicable relationships between Kenya and China.
Confucius Institute Local Director Dr. Helen Guantai says that the Technical and Vocational Education and Training Authority, TVETA, has approved the offering of diploma courses in Chinese language at Kenyatta University.
Then we've also aligned our diploma in Chinese language to TVET as a requirement by the university, and that program has recently been approved by TVET Authority, and we are set to start the first group in September 2023. On the same line as an institute, we realized the growing demand for Chinese language in Kenya, and Chinese being one of the new language options to be included in the CBC, then we have developed a Bachelor of Arts in Chinese language that is also set to start in September.
That is our aim in the curriculum, that when the students, they learn Mandarin, they will improve their proficiency and their linguistic competencies. And therefore, what we have in our curriculum, we offer Chinese proficiency. Therefore, we look forward to a time when the universities will get learners who are already proficient in Chinese.
The Confucius Institute, which is funded by the Chinese government and Kenyatta University, spearheads the teaching of Chinese language and culture in Kenya. Dr. Guantai says the growing demand for Chinese language is necessitated by the need for collaboration between Kenya and China in mutual economic sectors.
There's a growing demand of Chinese language, As you can see, Kenya is going China in banking, in infrastructure, SGR. We need people that can service the growing demand, and therefore as an institute we want to be strategic and bridge that gap.
It's going to have great motivation for kids across the country to study Chinese when they hear of such events and competitions. And also as a nation is an encouragement because we are seeing where our future leaders are. They are here, they are learning Chinese, and as we know, our country is facing the east. So we are in good hands. Yes.
The Chinese Mandarin is one of the foreign languages approved to be taught in the CBC curriculum. Joseph Kes, KUTV.
Right, that story by Joseph Case is now bringing us to our first break here on KUTV Primetime News. Remember, we have plenty more to follow, including our two set of discussion tonight. And we are talking about, the Day of Africa, and I'll be talking with Sandra Chege, the head of Arts British Council, that is in Kenya. And later on, we'll be talking with Honorable Stanley Karanja, member of County Assembly for Nakuru East, just to talk about a raft of issues. Remember, they had issued 14 days ultimatum to the government to heed to their demand. But until now, what is going on? It's a discussion that I'm sure we are all waiting to see how it will unfold. But first thing first, let's take this break, and when we come back, plenty more to follow.
Kurunzi ya kilimo huimarisha afya na uchumi endelevu katika jamii. Ni msingi mkubwa wa kipindi Boresha Kilimo. Kipindi hiki kinajikita katika teknolojia ya kisasa, utafiti na ushirikishaji wa wadau wa kilimo kuonyesha shughuli mbalimbali shambani. Kwa suluhu ya utoshelevu wa chakula, tazama Boresha Kilimo.
To knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Sandra, you can hear me right now?
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
The folks are gone. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepopa siko kufuke. Pepopa ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na uasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni dunia ni leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Real
welcome back, and you're glad you're still here with us. Now, this is where we pick this particular discussion of Africa Day. Now, Africa Day is celebrated on every 25th of May with the aim of celebrating and acknowledging the success of the organizations of African unity and its successor, that is the African Union. Africa Day symbolizes Africa unity, commitment to peace, democracy, and economic development, and learning about the continent of Africa. Discovering African arts and crafts are among the ways to celebrate Africa Day. And joining us live via Zoom to shed more light on Africa Day is Sandra Chege, Head of Arts, British Council, Kenya. Sandra, thank you so much for making time to speak to KUTV. Now, I want to beam you into this very important discussion about Africa Day and just how important is this day in our African culture.
Sure. I think it's important to have days that commemorate and encourage people to gather and think about specific questions and topics. At the British Council, we are commemorating Africa Day through the reflection and celebration of work that young people have been working through over the last few years. And we have a very fantastic agenda. Well, we are coming to the close, but anyone who is interested will be very happy to find out that they can tune into the recordings, because we had 3 sessions that were hosted online, and these 3 sessions were looking really at film, for example, the opportunity for African film and uncovering diversity and creativity in the film industry. That was a panel that had representatives from DocuBox, the documentary film fund based in Kenya that has a remit across East Africa, in conversation with Filamu Zetu out of Wales. And they had a partnership where they shared films from both places and held conversations in Wales. And we also had Beyond Words, looking at the power of poetry and storytelling in shaping culture, identity, and social change, which was a very dynamic conversation, as well as another one looking at uncovering the hidden narratives in arts, so decolonizing visual arts and amplifying narratives from the African continent. So it's been quite the day.
We tap into this culture, heritage, and of course, digital space to harness what is there, the opportunities that are there for young people and even the Africans in all.
Sorry, please say that again.
How can we tap into the opportunities available in terms of culture and heritage, just to give opportunities our young people and even Africans as a society at large?
Sure. So I can speak to the opportunities available through the British Council programs, but perhaps we can kick off by letting you know a little bit more about the work that happens at the British Council, so that it is within like a larger understanding before kind of getting to how people can connect. So maybe I can speak a little bit to my role at the council and what we do, and then speak to the opportunities, if that's all right.
All right. It's fair enough.
Sure.
Go on.
So as was mentioned, my name is Sandra Chege. I work at the British Council and I manage the arts program there. And how this program works is that we look at how best to connect young people from Africa and young people in the UK to make work that matters to them. So one of the programs, and the one that's bringing us here today, is called Culture Connects. And that offers grants to young people to collaborate, again, to create work that is of interest to them, of their skill set, that they can share with wider audiences. Another program that we run is under the Creative Economy banner. And through this banner, we're really looking at how young people can improve their skills, strengthen their networks, and find opportunities to grow their businesses through the Creative Economy grants that we offer. In Kenya, our focus has been fashion for the last few years. We run a really dynamic program called Creative DNA, which is an incubator program that is supporting 20 businesses. We're in our third cohort right now. And here they learn skills, again, that are practical to how the fashion sector operates. And then they also learn how to connect with their peers and what the wider ecosystem looks like. Last but not least is the work that we do under what we're calling Culture Response. Culture Response is looking at the work that we're doing in heritage, climate, and inclusion. And now what that means is that we're looking at how young people can connect to their heritage and find ways to develop skills within that sector to be able to share, learn, protect, and preserve their own cultural heritage in collaboration with others. So that's a brief kind of overview of the work that I oversee at the council and that we're supporting the Kenyan creative sectors to do.
Right. Now that, the world and let's say African continent is celebrating 60 years since, the inception of this Africa Day, what are some of the milestones, in your own opinion, that will say that we have achieved so far as this particular Africa Day is concerned?
Well, that's a challenging question. 60 years is both a very long time and also no time at all. I think it's important to really reflect on what we consider progress. What are young people interested in? I think when we're looking at how the Africa Union is framing it around peace and prosperity, I'm really not the one to be able to speak to how well we are achieving those agendas. But when it comes to speaking about the creative industries and looking at how young people are getting involved and the ideas around professionalization, I would say that there has definitely been a lot of progress over the last 60 years, or even the last 5 years. There's a commitment to ensuring that young people have access to knowledge, that their courses in college are fit for purpose. I mean, look at us now on KUTV speaking digitally. There's a lot of progress that is amplifying voices of young people that would not ordinarily have been given platforms to express their interests and curate information in ways that are meaningful to them.
All right, the British Council is running a project with scope of culture in response to global challenges. Kindly talk to us more about this.
Yes, so when we're looking at how culture is responding to global challenges, really what we're looking at is how are young people and wider communities thinking about preserving their heritage and responding to challenges. So for example, there's a program that we run called the Cultural Protection Fund, which is looking to protect culture that is at risk of loss or damage, whether it is tangible or intangible. So whether it is a language or whether it is a museum that is at risk of being lost or damaged due to either climate action or conflict. And in Kenya, one of the projects that is currently running is a really interesting program run by Professor Kimani Njogu of Toweza Communications and his team that is looking to safeguard the cultural heritage of the Bajun dialect of the Swahili people and the oral traditions and poetry. So being able to think about that and seeing how they will, record and document the Bajun dialect that is spoken by more than 15,000 people in this region. And we'll be thinking about how to really preserve those indigenous languages and encourage communities to engage and learn and protect and preserve. So that is the kind of work that we think about when we're looking at cultural heritage.
All right. Well, there is a question here for you. You have spoken about three aspects: the culture connect, creativity DNA. Now, one of your viewers here is asking, is there a criteria if someone is interested? What are some of the considerations that you guys consider for him or her to join?
Sure. So all the opportunities at the British Council are available and run through open calls. So you should definitely follow us on East Africa Arts on Instagram or #East Africa Arts across social media platforms. and also look at the website, the British Council Kenya, and I'll share those details so that you're able to share with your viewers. Now, those criteria for the multiple opportunities, because there are multiple opportunities every year, they have different criteria for each. Essentially, what we will be looking at is what is your project? What are you trying to do? Is your budget realistic? Does it respond to the call and the criteria of that specific call? So right now, one of the calls that I'm quite excited about is one that we're running with a partner called TICA, and TICA stands for the Trust of Indigenous Cultures in Health. This fund is called the BRAID Fund, and it will be going live in the next few weeks. So I really encourage you to follow East Africa Arts for when that information is available. And this fund will specifically, again, be looking at heritage practitioners. So for example, if you come from a community where you recognize that there are instruments that used to be played that are no longer being played, or nobody has that knowledge of how to make those instruments or how to play them has not been passed down, and you have a project that you want to think about maybe recording the process of making that instrument, teaching people how to make that online, and then sharing that with others. Those kinds of projects that are really looking at preserving and sharing traditional knowledge that is at risk of loss.
Well, thank you so much, Sandra Cheg, of course, for your time. Now that, of course, we are running out of time, but I will give you at least a minute for you to give us your parting shot as far as this very important discussion about Africa Day is concerned before we wind it up.
Of course. I think it's just a reflection on the importance of culture and the value that it has in shaping our identities, and to really encourage young people to think about those, especially who are interested in pursuing professional careers in culture, that there are free trainings that you can access on the British Council platform. One of them that we're very excited about is the work that Africa Digital Heritage has done. They've produced a toolkit for cultural heritage practitioners. This is meaning that if you lead something in your community and you really want to figure out how to organize in that community, there's a toolkit for you. If you're also just curious about how to begin your career in the creative industries, we have the Creative Enterprise e-learning platform that you can also find on the British Council website that has courses that will talk you through, starting your business, expanding your business, and also thinking about social impact, which is quite critical in this day and age. So I would encourage anyone who's interested to really follow, again, East Africa Arts and look out for those opportunities to learn something in their own time.
All right. Sandra Chege, thank you so much, of course, for making time.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, that was Sandra Chege, of course. That is the British Head of Arts, British Council Kenya, of course, just giving us brief highlight of what is happening and, of course, what is to expect in this particular day. Now, we are due for another short break. When we come back, we'll be diving direct into matters to do with counties. See you in a bit.
Technology, science, innovation, ICT and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient, and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Technovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one, one for all. Every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
Kipindi hewani ni mitindo ya kipwani. Kama ilivyo kipindi hiki kinahusu nyimbo za taarab, chakacha, midwara, midundiko, bila kusahau mapishi. Ambao ndio uti wa mgongo wa pwani ya Afrika Mashariki.
Jamani swahibu zangu mliopo maskani, hatuonani wenzangu, najua mwanitamani.
Hapa KUTV, nahodha mwendesha chombo cha baharini, yani uwa linalunukia na kuvutia waridi tamu.
Access to knowledge. Solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
On this week's episode of Fashion Diaries.
So when we are giving you that, we also complement it up with any other thing that should and can complement that suit in accordance with the spectrums of the suit in question.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Small businesses. technology, science, innovation, ICT and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Tech Innovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one, one for all. Every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
We are all seeing the impacts of climate change. In Kenya, for example, the floods, the frequency of the floods is becoming more and worse. The amount of people and livestock we're losing.
The level we need to go is the level where the normal mwananchi and also the government stakeholders can uptake these solutions.
Those small acts multiplied by millions of us will help make a difference in the world at the end of the day.
It's just a slight behavior change that we need, and you'll find that it serves us a bit more than you put in. And that's the goal. We want to live a better world than we found, because at the rate we are going, it's dire.
We will secure the planet for future generations.
Alright, welcome back, and now the news still continues, beg your pardon for that. Autopsy on a total of 129 bodies exhumed from the phase 2 of Shakahola exhumation exercise have begun today at the Malindi Sub-County Mortuary. Cabinet Secretary for Interior Professor Kithure Kindiki, who launched the process today, also announced that an extension of the Chaka Ranch dusk to dawn curfew by 30 more days to pave way for more exhumation.
Until now, the total number of bodies.
Cabinet Secretary for Interior Kithure Kindiki today oversaw the launching of post-mortem autopsies on 129 bodies exhumed in the second phase of Shakahola exhumations. Post-mortem autopsies were conducted on 15 bodies today. 4 of the bodies were male and 11 of them female. Autopsy results revealed that 10 of the bodies succumbed to hunger, while 1 female showed signs of head injuries.
We have been able to take DNA samples from 93 cases. We have been able to reunite 19 victims with their families.
Search and rescue operations have been going on in the ranch, getting the number of victims rescued to 91. Even so, more than 613 people have been reported missing so far. Kindiki said that there could be more graves in the extensive Sakama Ranch, prompting the government to extend the dusk to dawn curfew by an additional 30 days.
And we have been able to arrest 34 persons until now.
The government post-exhumation exercises last week to allow post-mortem to be conducted on the bodies exhumed in phase 1. The Shakahola death toll now stands at 241 after 5 more bodies were recovered. Muneneweru, KUTV.
Alright, it's now time for the latest in the world of sports. English Premier League side Brighton book a spot in the Europa League after a 1-1 draw against champions Manchester City as Real Madrid played against Rayo Vallecano in the Spanish La Liga in the first match since racial abuse towards Vinicius